It's tournament season at First, and the next big one at Santa Anita, Gulfstream and Express Bet is the Ultimate Betting Challenge this Saturday, March the 2nd. The Ultimate Betting Challenge features every race at Gulfstream Park on Fountain of Youth Day and Santa Anita Park on Big Cap Day, making it a coast-to-coast betting extravaganza. Buy in for $6,000, $5,000 live bankroll, and compete against players from around the country for massive cash prizes and NHC seats. First, we'll seed 4 NHC seats to the prize pool, and all cash entry fees will be distributed back as prizes. At 150 players, that's $150,000 in cash prizes, plus those 4 NHC seats. Play in the UBC on site at Gulfstream or Santa Anita, or jump in online with ExpressBet. Head over to expressbet.com/tournaments for more information and to register to play. Dan Illman, Mike Beer taking a look at race number 8 at Gulfstream Park on Fountain of Youth Saturday. 3-year-old filly is going the 2-turn mile on the turf in the Herecomesthebride. Let's take a look at this field. It is a grade 3 for $200,000. We got a pretty strong field in here, and I think it's a somewhat competitive group, Mike, led by the 7 Life's an Audible, the 3 Ozara. They're building up a nice little rivalry.
Yeah, they are. They got the credentials in this race to be the 2 horses to take most of the money, Dan. We'll see if anybody can improve to take them down.
We'll take a look at our Timeform US pace projector. Now, Ozara seems a little bit more tactical than Life's an Audible, who is a true closer. And as you note, by the LP designation over her number 7 Chiclet, she's got the fastest Timeform US late pace rating. This red bar fast pace, they got to be liking that.
Yeah, this pace projector is exactly what Life's and Audible's connections want to see here, Dan. We'll see how fast they go. Certainly the surface switchers, the 1 and the 8, are supposed to show speed in here.
Mystic Lake especially going out for trainer Safi Joseph. We're going to look at her most recent start. This is on dirt now at the Gasparilla, going 7/8 of a mile, and she just went right to the front, set a legitimate pace, and is a very comfortable winner, as a short-priced favorite should be. Her prior starts on synthetic are also okay, Mike, so maybe turf will be her game. It's a step up in class, but what worries me the most is the expected fast race flow. That could work against her.
Yeah, we'll see how fast the pace gets here. She's not exactly finishing very strongly there, going 7. She also blew a clear stretch lead going 7 on the all-weather last October, so distance is another question for her. The most interesting thing about her, Dan, there's a little pedigree, I guess. So Safi Joseph switches this horse to turf to work last month, 45 for a half, and then her most recent work, 5 and 56 inches. I've never seen anything like it.
I've never seen anything like the 56 and change workout. I'm assuming she's going to the front if she breaks.
Yeah.
This horse is just wicked fast. But when I saw 45 and 56, that's probably the fastest 5/8 work I've ever seen. The 2 is Crown Imperial. She's hoping for a fast pace. She's also very underrated for trainer John Ortiz. Here's her first route, the grade 2 Jessamine, a race where she did get a fast pace. This race went to closers. Crown Imperial, though, in her first route start, is going to make up some ground to finish third, finish ahead of a couple of next out winners.
She ran okay in here. Ultimately, this trip works out pretty well for her running style. Obviously, the winner came from way out of it. She's out of it as well, but gets a clean run and will get up for third in here. She ran okay in this race, Dan. We'll see how much she can step forward here in her 3-year-old debut. She's supposed to take a step forward. We'll see if she can do it.
Ozara's won a couple of stakes races already at this Gulfstream Park meet for Christophe Clement, and really her tactical speed is key because it allows her to get good trips, as she did in the Ginger Brew, beating 3 of these horses. She's just biding her time down towards the inside. The rail opens up. Tyler shoots her on through. She's best.
Yeah, the trip really works out for her, but she also, puts on a pretty good finish at the end of this race to get clear. Life's an Audible. You're going to see her come way too late on the outside and make up a ton of ground. She's got to get closer when this field gets into the stretch, Dan. The tactical speed's a big advantage for this filly.
Dancing in Dixie, you just saw, was the gray horse in that replay. She finished 6th, and she was sort of over and behind horses turning into the stretch, had to alter course a couple of times. The last time off heels down towards the inside. Once she was clear, I wish she ran on a little bit more, but you could give her somewhat of an excuse.
Yeah, very, very much so. She got way too far away early anyway, Dan. It was far back. She did get to save ground, but it wasn't a perfectly clean closer's run for her. So maybe you want to give her, a little bit of the benefit of the doubt for that. She's clearly not a dirt horse. So she's okay on synthetic. She ran fine on turf in that most recent start. Maybe this is going to be her surface.
Number 5 is Makanga, another horse that could be part of the pace. This was a gate-to-wire winner 2 starts back. Last time out, they ran her in the Sweetest Chance, and she set the pace again, came off the rail, turning into the stretch, and got a little bit tired, but she did set ambitious fractions that day. I wonder if they're going to try rating tactics this time around.
I wonder too. We'll see what they decide to do with her. Certainly, there's upside here. I thought her, turf debut, the win there in December, that was a fine performance, Dan. She cut the pace last time. It was sort of no match, but there's no reason to think she can't do better than that. It's only her fourth lifetime start. She could easily improve here.
Safi Joseph also has show off in here, making her first start for the barn. This one was previously conditioned by Brad Cox in her only previous start on the turf. This is a career debut going a mile at Kentucky Downs. She was dismissed at a big price. She got a great ride. There just didn't appear to be a lot of pace in this race. And at the right moment, they opened up and she gets it done. And I like that she rallied off the pace last time out on the dirt at Fairgrounds to beat a couple next out winners.
Yeah, she's still a little green in this replay we're watching too, but she kept running through the stretch there, so it could be a really good sign for her, Dan. I mean, again, those Kentucky Downs races, we say it all the time. Sometimes I feel like they don't mean anything, whether they're good or bad, but she sure looked good winning that race.
Life's Inaudible kind of ran in spots in the Ginger Brew 2 starts back. It looked like for a second she was going nowhere on the second turn while wide, but once she straightened out, we saw her rally very stoutly to get second behind Ozara, and then she backed it up with a win in the Sweetest Chant, a race where she got a solid enough pace, and this in-out closers trip just worked out very, very well for her.
It really did. She got a good closer's trip in there, but she also has work to do through the upper stretch, and she comes running here. This is a really good finish. She puts on over a horse Style Points who got through on the rail there. That horse is pretty good, Dan, and got a perfect trip in this race, and Life's Inaudible ran her down at the end. That was a really good performance.
Irish Maxima is expected to be part of the pace, stretching out and switching to turf by Maximus Mischief, a young styer that doesn't really have many turf runners. The dam, though, is grade 2 placed on a synthetic surface. She has foaled 6 prior turf runners, however, and only 1 is won.
Yeah, I didn't love the pedigree for this horse, which bothered me more than anything else. I liked her first 2 starts. They were both sprints on the dirt. They tried to step her up in class for the last 2, and it did not work out.
Time to Dazzle is up next. And she just wouldn't settle last time out. That was the Ginger Brew, Mike. And I wonder if you just throw that race out after that, considering Ozara was able to save ground. Time to Dazzle was on the outside. She won 2 starts back on the synth. For me, it's kind of a big class question. However, she has shown the ability to rate and finish. It's up to Joe Bravo to get her covered up early and let her relax.
True. I'm interested to see what kind of price she winds up going off in here, Dan. I want to wait for that because I do think she has some ability. The Ginger Brew last time, she was her own worst enemy in there because once again, she refused to settle, but she did get into the traffic on the first turn. I think that got her into the bit, and then she got ranked and she was very wide in there. I am going to give her a pass for that. I thought she showed some real ability as a 2-year-old. Outside of the 2 favorites, this was the other horse for me.
Bill Mott's going to dabble with the equipment on our next entrant, the number 10 Agra. Blinkers are coming off here, and I can understand why. She was very keyed up last time out. It was a slow-paced race, and she wanted to go, and she was pulling and pulling. And all things considered, I thought Agra ran pretty well to be third, Mike. She showed the ability to win 2 starts back on a synthetic surface. She's yet to put it all together, and now she's stepping up in class.
Yeah, stepping up in class. Maybe that's a good sign, ultimately, Dan. I don't really know. She's got some pedigree, though. I think there is something there with her. She just has an awful lot to prove still, and I'm not sure that stepping her right up into a stakes race now is necessarily what she really needs, but there's a chance she takes a big step forward at some point.
Yet another outside post for Pounce, who took advantage of first-time LASIK, something she won't have access to on Saturday. When winning a first-level allowance going 7.5 furlongs, she had to work very hard from an outside post to get to the lead. Once she did make the top, though, she was strong. The problem is if she tries this kind of trip from a far outside post, she might get cooked while wide.
True. This was a legit pace.
Oh, yeah.
Here. She runs really well in here and clearly took a big step forward on the turf, Dan. So that's a good sign for her. I don't know how this trip works out for her from the outside post. There's speed to her inside. So I don't think she's wire in this field, but maybe she doesn't need that trip.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the grade 3. Here Comes the Bride, Life's Inaudible, and Ozara, the 2 horses to beat. Life's Inaudible might get some pace to set her up. And as you mentioned, Mike, last time out, she really was firing late against a horse that had a much better trip than she did.
Yeah, I struggled with this race, Dan. I didn't really love anyone in here, and so I just put the 2 favorites on top in here. I slightly prefer Life's Inaudible. Again, if I bet the race, it'll probably be because Time to Dazzle, the 9, is, 15 to 1 in this race. I do think she has some talent. I'm wondering what kind of trip she can get this time.
Dancing in Dixie's kind of my interesting long shot. If you throw out her dirt races, her synthetic races are good, and she did have a little bit of trouble in that turf race. I think she's going to be taken back. There's going to be some pace, but she is going to have to improve. The good news is she's got to be double-digit odds against this group. 4-3-7-5 for me, 7-3-9-1 for Mike in the grade 3. Here Comes the Bride on Fountain of Youth Saturday at Gulfstream. Best of luck.